On St. Peter's and St. Paul's days, the local church blesses the animals. Everyone comes with his own animal, like lambs, goats, or horses, or even house pets, like cats or dogs. A red mark is painted on the blessed animals. These festivals are not only holidays or spectacles, but also big events in the Maltese community life. In the Rabat Basket Garden, the pavilions, music bands, and several programs give a real picnic feeling. The highest point of the island is the 253-meter-high Gebel Siantaran. Here was built the small Maddalena Chapel, from which we can overlook to an amazing view. Under us is the giddy Dingley Precipice, and opposite in the sea there is the island of Filfla. Medina was the former capital of the island. The Phoenicians established it, the Romans extended it, and the Arabs surrounded it with a city wall. Its name also indicates this. The Johnnies also survived here in the first Turkish siege, and here they decided on the building of Valletta. Medina is also known as the Silent City. This is true because there's no car traffic in the area surrounded by the city walls. On the main gate, there's the crest of the Grand Master Manuel de Vilhena. Behind the city gate, costumed ushers coax us into a wax museum, which illustrates medieval torture and executions. A more pleasant sight is the Museum of Natural Sciences in front of us. In the continuation of the city gate, on Trick-Villegagnon Street, we find beautiful palaces and churches. Here are the palaces of one of the oldest noble families, the Casa Iguanes and the Benedictine Order Monastery. The old buildings of Medina, like the Palazzo Santa Sofia or the Norman House, are real architectural curiosities. There were no windows on them to the outer side, but they were open towards their inner yards. The gap between their double walls has been filled with gravel to keep the rooms cool. With a short detour, we can visit an audiovisual show similar to that of Valletta. However, the old town by itself provides enough to see. On the main square is St. Paul's Cathedral, built in 1702 on the foundation of several old churches. There are two clocks on the cathedral showing different times in order to confuse the devil. Perhaps this is the reason why evil never sleeps? The flooring of the church here is also made of the knights' marble gravestones, like in the fellow cathedral in Valletta. The wonderful fresco is the work of Mattia Preti and shows the shipwreck of St. Paul. The Cathedral Museum also shows memories before the Great Earthquake of 1693. An interesting permanent exhibition can be admired in the Palazzo Notabile, entitled Medieval Times, while in the western direction we can see an exhibition illustrating the history of the Knights of Malta. The pleasant small bastion square can be found atop the Medina city wall. It's fascinating to admire the St. Paul Bay, the Taqual, the airport, and even Valletta from a bird's-eye view without flying. According to the legend, the converted governor of Rome, Publius, saw St. Paul's shipwreck from here. Mosta is a small town on Middle Malta, close to the northwestern coast. Its only site is the huge Virgin Mary Church, also called the Rotunda. It was built, according to Vassey's plans, on the place of the smaller church. From 1833, volunteers were working on the construction. Its point of interest is the dome that can be clearly seen already from a big distance. Its diameter is 37 meters, and it's one of the largest domes in the world. During World War II, a bomb partly destroyed the dome, but it didn't blow up. What a miracle this must have seemed to the local people. George Bernard Shaw, well known for his dark humor, said, "If priests were trees, Malta would be in shade." Obviously, in Europe, we're no longer used to such an autocracy of the church. Those who want to marry here should first consider it carefully, because Malta is the only European country where divorce is impossible. In the neighbourhood of the National Station and the airport, partly in the barracks of the old airport, is the Taquali Craftsman Centre. This differs from the souvenir shops because here we can see how the gifts are produced. Perhaps the most interesting sight is the glass blowing. The products here are considerably cheaper than in the bazaars visited by the tourists. We can find countless knight figures in several variations, and also knickknacks decorated with the Maltese cross. Buying the lace of Gozo, and the different objects made by polishing small Maltese rocks. We can have individual presents which are obtainable only here. We sail over to the northwest, and we can find several pleasant beaches on both sides of the Marfa Ridge promontory. One of the best known is the Golden Bay. A rock towers between the two bays, giving a lovely view in all directions. The yellow sand of the Golden Bay is quite crowded during peak season. People come to have a bath even from Sliema by car or bus. Those less interested in monuments, who mind the relative distance of the capital, like to spend their holidays here. We can also find quiet, lonely small bays between two artificial beaches, and those who like the water sports can find a wide range here. Water skiing and parachuting, jet skiing and diving. We can find all that is needed for an active vacation. As on all coastal settlements or islands, on Malta there's a wide range of different boating possibilities. There are also programs starting from Valletta and boating around the whole island. The long journey is interrupted by a cold buffet breakfast and a short rest in one of the splendid bays of Cominoto Island. Only the ochre sandstone rocks stand between the blue sky and the deep sea.